Joining us now to talk more about the threat that cartels pose for Americans, Art Roderick, former Assistant Director for Investigations at the U.S. Marshals and former Senior Manager at the Department of Homeland Security. I appreciate your time this morning. First of all, your response to hearing DHS saying they do not have control of the entire border.
I mean, we've been hearing that for a while. And I think when you look at the numbers, it is clearly evident. When you look at what was happening in fiscal year 2021, we had 1.76 million contacts come across the border, illegal immigration coming across the border. That number jumped again another million in 2022, 2.76 million. So I was around at Homeland Security back in 2014 when we had that previous surge, and we were only talking about 500,000. And at that point in time, everybody thought that was horrible. Now we're seeing these numbers just exponentially jump off the charts. It's crazy. And as much as we think we have an issue, national security issue with China, with Russia, with some of the other countries that are classified as the axis of evil, I think right now this is raising to the level of a huge national security issue that we've got to start taking seriously and designate these cartels as terrorist groups.
And you don't believe that would be a political stunt? There are some complications. That's a complex issue to
Yes.
deem them as cartels and then take military action, which some Republicans have proposed. Talk about the complexities of that solution.
Yeah, it is, and we've attempted this before, and I think, you know, whether it's military or a combination of military and federal law enforcement involved, we have a lot of agents, both from FBI, DEA, U.S. Marshals, Homeland Security investigations, that are stationed in Mexico fighting this fight every single day. And I think with certain designations, and you're right, it is very political, but something has got to be done because these cartels are using terroristic type actions to go ahead, and whether they're rushing the border like they did earlier this week with 1,000 people, which draws Border Patrol, Homeland Security away from other sectors, brings them to the port of entry, and that opens up the border in other areas for them to either bring human smuggling across, more fentanyl, terrorists that we've seen on the watch list. So it is a very political situation, and I have to tell you, with almost 40 years in law enforcement, anytime politics mixes with law enforcement, it never bodes well for either one.
The other thing that the chairman brought up a moment ago was the detainment issue. He said they aren't detaining these people as they come across. Is that true? And how do you address that?
Yes, it is true. I mean, detaining is a deterrence. But I think in this particular situation, when you're talking about millions of people, we do not have the beds or the ability to put these people in administrative type segregation to keep them in a facility. So the only thing we can do is release them. It's crazy, but you know, who knows how many terrorists or wanted criminals have been released into this country in these 2.76 million people. So deterrence is when you lock somebody up, that is a deterrence. I will tell you that. And we've seen that in other issues across the country. But now they're just more or less catch and release into the U.S.
The other issue, and you can see where we've got cartel busts since January across the country, that is a big concern. I mean, lives are being lost because of fentanyl. I spoke with former Congressman Mike Rogers within the last hour, and he said you have to disrupt the distribution of the supply chains. You have to intercept these cartels, shake them up. They've been acting with impunity. How do you do that from a law enforcement standpoint?
Well, I mean, DEA has a long history of doing that, both down in Colombia and other countries, but specifically Colombia. That was a long-term plan. Plan Colombia was actually the name of it that we participated in. All the federal agencies participated in. And DEA is very much an expert at dismantling and interrupting these types of organizations. They just need the staffing and the tools to go ahead and do that. But this has been growing for decades to this point. So these cartels are very huge now. They're very well resourced, very well armed, and it might take the military. You need military assistance to help in this particular situation. I mean, we saw what El Chapo did down there a few years ago, and the type of armament and weapons that he has. You need the military to come in, whether it's the Mexican Marines and assistance with U.S. military or U.S. law enforcement, but it's got to be done. Otherwise, this is just going to get worse, and we're going to have cartels coming across the border fighting in the U.S. pretty soon.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.